Good morning. So, I want to talk a little bit about getting lost in the story of your life. When you continuously get lost in the story of your life, the life that is already created, what already is, then you are continuously creating that which already is in existence, especially if what you are looking at are the aspects that you don't like of your life. You are continuously legitimatizing them, continuously giving them your continuous life power, your this moment and this moment and this moment and this moment, and you are creating more momentum within the story that already is. You're giving more power to that. So how many times each and every one of us has met somebody that is lost in some detrimental story within their life where they just can't pull themselves out of it. It's like you're going through life and there's a pitfall and you fall into this hole and you start going around and around and around in the same hole. And the more you're going around in that hole, the more momentum that hole or that way of thinking or that thought or that aspect is gaining momentum and gaining power. The further you get lost in that story, the more difficult it becomes to pull yourself out and above that story, right? Because in every single moment of your life, you have your life power and all options are open until you, like in quantum physics, until you spend that moment and move it in a specific direction, all options are open for you. There are so many different ways of being and so many different things that you can do and so many different aspects of your own personal self and your own personality and so many ideas that you have and so many places that you can be. And also, I also mean like be in your mind. There's so many emotions that you can feel. There's the full spectrum of emotions. And when you get lost in one little spiral, you are limiting your life to what already is in existence, what already has caught momentum, and whatever has already been um, expelled, energy expelled. So you're continuously giving your life power and your current life energy to replenish a momentum that is already going. Now, that is a good thing if you have something that is empowering you and something in your life that is rising and something that if you are putting all your life energy and focus into something that is building you up and enhancing you and expanding your life experience, then and you feel accomplished and you feel um, full of purpose and you feel um, uh, worthy, then that is a good thing. But if you are putting your life power into something that is in a emotion of lack or something of the past that you continuously relive and recreate, or beliefs, if you keep continuously give your life power to beliefs that take away your power, then you are um I want to say like cheating yourself out of not only the life that is happening right now, but the opportunities of what could be within your life, right? So you are giving away your life power to something that is taking your life power and not re-adding energy into it, something that is not building, something that is decreasing you, something that is pulling you into closure rather than opening up your life. So it all comes back to the spiritual work. It all comes back to our own internal work. It all comes back to awareness, coming into the now, paying attention to where our thoughts and our focus are, paying attention to how we feel and why we feel that way, being fluid and flexible in our belief system so that when we are able to pinpoint those places, those little holes that we get into, that we start um, falling into these thoughts that are the opposite of empowering, then we will notice them, and not only notice them, but we also notice the emotion that they give us, and we also are able to um, follow the emotion and the thought back to finding what is causing this. Why do I believe this? Because all options are open for me. Why am I stuck? All emotions are open for me. It's a frequency. It's like you are a radio station, and all of the different frequencies are available to you to tune into. Which emotion, which frequency are you, which vibration are you tuning into and attuned to, and why? Now, a lot of these emotions we were taught into as children. We were taught, okay, this is, we were taught by our parents. We were showed, oh no, if this happens, then that means this about me, and we're all doomed. But as you notice, that's just kind of like an empty promise. Because as long as we have life force energy within us, we are still alive and we still have all options open, even if it is not apparent to us, even if we think differently, even if our body is ill, there still is life force energy within us, and we still are the creators of our own dimension, of our own world, of our own universe, of our own perspective, of our own emotion, of our own thoughts, of our own life. And regardless of whatever is going on around us, outside of us, we are the masters of our own domain. We are the ones that are creating our experience. We can tune ourselves according to whichever vibration or whatever perspective or whichever um, emotion, whichever way of thinking or deciphering the information that is coming into us. We have the capability and right of interpreting it however we want. So even if it's something that is perceived as negative to the consensus, or we have conceived it as negative in the past, we can correct that and see it as an opportunity to rise. Because whenever we're getting something that we don't like within our reality, first of all, to know that we are the ones that are creating it. And second of all, to know that we have the power to interpret it however we wish to interpret it. So we can interpret it as a lesson that has come to teach us. If there is something that we conceive as negative within our reality, within our own internal world, then we can see it as a push-off point, because within the answers of what we don't like is what we do want. So if we are perceiving that I can't even perceive it. But if we're perceiving that something comes into our life that is not good, it is it is an opportunity for us to say, okay, if I don't want this thing in my life, if I don't want to feel misery, then it means that I want to feel joy. So I can use this as a push off point to here. Because if I am experiencing something I'm experiencing it negative in my life, then I can use that to find what its opposite, the other side of the spectrum of it is emotionally, right? Because the emotions come with two sides, just like archetypes come with two sides. They come with the side of the strength and the side of the weakness, right? It's just like white and black, and they're dependent on each other because there is no white without black. It just could not exist without its contrast. So, and it is one. It has to be one because they are dependent completely on each other. If you take out darkness, you have no light. If you take out black, you have no white. So they complete each other into one. So if you have this emotion that you are perceiving as negative, it is a push off point to know exactly what you want to achieve on the positive, what you perceive to be positive, right? There is no negative or positive. There just is, right? Whatever is in existence is. But you can use your focus, your mind, your intention, right? We are just incredible beings. Look at this. We can use our focus and our attention, our mind, which is of this 3D level, to do our spiritual work. I mean, that's how we do it. We do it through the ego. The ego allows us to. It's like our container. It allows us even to collect thoughts and be able to do calculations, right? There's so much more I have to say about that, how everything interconnects with everything, right? Because at the same moment, you want to come into the now, but you also have the capability of using these tools, which are like master tools. Your ego is your master tool to be able to find that quiet place to where you can get out of your mind and come into the now. Because every time we go into our mind, it's either we are reliving the past, projecting onto the future, or we are planning, we are calculating, thinking about things and working things out. Those are the states of being, or we are or we are in the now, and then we can um, just see things as is. We can be completely present in our life, and when you are present in your life, time becomes much less relevant. Of course, everything plays out on time, but when you come into the now, you are the observer. You aren't in your mind. You lose yourself in the now. So back to our point, and it is like that. You lose yourself. When you come into the now, you become pure consciousness, which means that you connect to the all and you become an observer, but also a being in the now. You become part of that consciousness. You connect your consciousness to the consciousness of the all, and then you merge into and become part of, and then that life just becomes that magnificence. And from in that place of being the observer and being consciousness, you also become the master of this plane, because you become aware of everything that is around you. And not only do you lose your self-importance, but you also gain your self-importance. It's like all the paradoxes live in the now together. All of the different sides of the spectrum are live in perfect synchronicity. So you have that you are able to perceive the dark and the light without putting any kind of judgment on them. And then you can play with the dark and the light, well, because you're not, oh, I'm in pain, I'm in the dark. Oh, I'm in bliss, I'm in the light. It becomes more of like just everything is, and it is emotion free. It just is. And it becomes like this magnificent playground that you can just, everything is malleable. Everything is like Play-Doh. You can just play with all that is, and also all that is not, because then you can play you're playing also with the substance that from which creation comes forth from, which is where we belong, which is our higher selves, which we are constantly and continuously connected to, which is a much larger plane than this plane. This plane is the plane of things already created, the place where things come from, the life place where plants spring out of the earth from. That place is I almost want to say incomprehensible with the mind, but it is also infinite. That means there are infinite options when you go into that place. We are beings of infinite options. And that brings us back to the first point that we were making, which is all options are open in every single moment. And when we get lost in the story of our lives, when we get lost, and a lot of us don't get lost in the real story of our lives, we get lost in one specific story of our lives that is spiraling us downwards because we're beating ourselves up over it. We're sitting in that guilt, and we're sitting in those places of weakness. And And we're doing ourselves a disfavor when we get lost in the story of our lives. So, it's like there's so many there are billions of people on the planet, billions, perhaps. And every single person is a universe in themselves, and there's so many different ways of being. And you can see that there's also the consensus of society, of whatever society that you live in, right? And everybody that lives in a different place, in China, the consensus of how to be and the narrative is much different than in the United States, than it is in Saudi Arabia, than it is in Russia, than it is in Norvegia, than it is in England, than it is in Israel, than it is in Iran, than it is in Egypt. Every single one of these places has their own, and even in the States, let's say, those who live in the East Coast is way different than those who live in the West Coast, and those who live in the mid, and those who live up in the Rockies, and those that live down in Florida. The mindset and the way of being is completely different. So you can see that there is no one way of being. So that means that we are beings that can adapt and change to many different circumstances. You can see that every time a circumstance comes into your life, we go through movement, we go through loss, we go through loss like a death or divorces, or we have children. How many times in our lives has our entire life we lose jobs, we gain jobs, we get education, we how many times in our lives has our whole life changed? And we are adaptable. You see, like little children, they stand up to walk and they fall. They stand up again to walk and they fall. There's there's so and they're so fluid and almost like malleable. You teach your children how to be, and they're so it's like Play-Doh. It's like playing with Play-Doh. And our minds, as they are like Play-Doh. We get stuck in places. Our minds are magnificent. People that learn how to play music, it's like an extension of yourself. People that it's learning a whole language. People that are multi-languaged, that you have to learn how to think in two different languages. Our minds, the things that the mathematics that we learn, the language that we learn, we know how to write with letters that we know how to interpret into sounds that mean a certain thing. We learn a language we can speak. Every single word that we say, we don't have to think about the word. How magnificent are our minds? We have like the master computer at our fingertips. It's not only the master computer here, it's also our emotional computer and our belief system, our memory, our projection. We have this master being that we are. And when we get lost in one specific story, we are like forgetting that we are these magnificent, just complete beings of awe, individuals, just magnificent beings of creation. We are forgetting that we are of creation. We are forgetting how magnificent we are, and all of our capabilities and abilities. So when you lift yourself out of the story, see, all you have to do is look around the world and see that, okay, the people are living in so many different perspectives, and all of those options are open for me too. I don't need to get stuck on one narrative or on one story and put all of and make all of my being be about that. That is just one small state of being, one reflection of options and opportunities of my being. And you can take even just in knowing that you can pull out of that place, or asking. We are connected to this divine light, this divine even if you want to look at it as like a substance from which creation comes, or to God, or to the universe, or to a life light, or to an energy, or to some kind of spark. There is a spark within us. There's life within us. And we are connected to that life, and everybody else is too, and all the plants are, and all the animals are. There is life and motion. The wind is, everything is connected to this life light and life light energy. And you can request, even if at first it feels a little bit like, it feels like fake it till you make it kind of, but your words have power, and when you speak, it is like the butterfly effect. It is going out into this space, and you are creating with your words. So find the intention to pull out of, if especially if you're stuck in a little dark hole, that you're walking along life and you fall into this little dark hole and you feel like you have no options, and as you're going around in that little spiral, that little dark hole, you start picking up more and more self reducing beliefs, because the longer you're in there and the longer you are believing that you are stuck, the more of these false beliefs come in that tell you, yeah, you can't do it. Yeah, you're that's it for the rest of your life. But when you realize that all options are open, even if it's just getting up and going outside and going for a walk and looking at the sun and watching a bird and looking how the tree grows and look at the branches and look at the magnificence of weather, and there's a cloud going by and look at that grass blade, even that will pull you into a little bit of a lighter place. And then you slowly, gradually can pull yourself out of that little hole, knowing that there are other options, and asking with words, knowing, okay, there are other options, even if I can't see them. I know that they are there. And I am requesting from the universe to guide me and to show me. And I am requesting from the universe to lift me into a higher vibration, into a knowing that I am worthy, into above the illusion. And I am requesting from the universe to uh, show me the way. What is the next step? And then let it go. Let it go. Because if you are trying to find the less, okay, where's the universe showing it to me? Where is it? Then you're going to try to start trying it within your ego, within your mind. You're going to try to make it happen. Whereas when you let it go, you allow the universe to come in and to guide you. And then all of a sudden you'll realize, the quicker you can let it go, the quicker it'll come back into your life for you, the quicker it'll show up for you. The more belief you have in it, the quicker it'll come to you. And then all of a sudden you will notice that out of nowhere, all of a sudden you are noticing opportunities. The universe will be speaking to you. All of a sudden you're noticing this opportunity and you're noticing that opportunity. And just know that it is possible, and it is an option for you. No matter what your state is, you are the master of your state of being and your state of mind, and it is available and open to you and for you. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I could keep on going on this subject for a long time, and add in all sorts of other. So I'm going to go ahead and end this here. If any of you guys want me to talk about a certain subject, you can put it in the comments below. Um, Anything that you would like to get my take on and my perspective on, or would like channeling for. So I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you for watching.